The catalyst, an agent that provokes or speeds significant change or action. Do you want to know what it is? It's found in every single story. You can see it in every single movie, and believe it or not, it happens to every single one of us every day of our lives. But unfortunately, no one can be told what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there's no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole really goes. Are you ready? Follow me. Knock, knock. Good. The catalyst.
Catalyst who?
The catalyst now has you.
What the hell? What happened? Who is it?
It's Juan.
Yeah.
It's the phone call, the text message, the knock knock at the door. In storytelling, it is the most important part. Why? Because if you fail to recognize it, if you fail to answer the call, you could miss out on the biggest opportunity, on the biggest adventure of your life. In the hero's journey, it's also known as the call to adventure. Happens in every single movie at minute number 12. Hey, don't take it from me. Take it from George Lucas, writer, director of the feature film Star Wars. He said it himself. If he hadn't known about this, the hero's journey, he would still be writing Star Wars today. And if Thomas A. Anderson, Neo, hadn't answered that call, if he hadn't followed the white rabbit, he would not have become the what? The one. Very good, sir. And if I hadn't answered that call myself many, many years ago, I wouldn't be here, standing here today, about to share this story with you. The year was 1984. I was 12 years old. And I remember my brother and I, we were looking forward to the long Christmas vacation, a time to spend with the family, with the friends. And one of those days, we asked our dad if he would take us to the movie theater. To our surprise, our dad said, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, what you are about to see is the opening title sequence to the movie I saw that night that would change my life forever. It will give me a drive and a passion to accomplish one dream. Now, for those of you that know me, you know my backstory, you know what movie I'm talking about. So let's not spoil it for the rest in the audience, because we're going to play a little game. I am going to show you the first 5 images to see if you can guess what feature film I'm talking about. Like they say in Hollywood, lights, camera, action, shot number 1, shot number 2, shot number 3, shot number 4, we're getting closer, and shot number 5, the Terminator. Now let's take a look at that opening title sequence in real time, exactly how I saw it 38 years ago, sitting down exactly where you're sitting at right now, in a very familiar setting, a movie theater. The Terminator, written and directed by visionary filmmaker Mr. James Cameron. Now, obviously, I was 12 years old at the time. I had no idea who this visionary filmmaker was. He also wrote and directed two of the highest grossing films of all time, Titanic and Avatar. And let me tell you, as soon as I saw what you just saw, that opening title sequence, I was hooked. It was like a drug. And the rest of the movie, one hell of a roller coaster ride. And I remember that night, as I was walking out of the theater, I stopped. I looked down at the red carpet. I froze. And I said to myself, pointing to the big screen, now that's what I want to do. But what did I want to do? Again, I was 12 years old. I had no idea what a producer, director, screenwriter, or cinematographer was. All I kept thinking was that whoever created that, whoever had that vision, more importantly, the discipline to sit down, write it down, capture it on film, capture my attention and put me in a trance for 2 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought that was very powerful. Now let me ask you this. What do you think I thought was power? Ladies and gentlemen, what did I think was power?
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it? Yes.
The dark side has never been stronger. The time has come.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
I know what's been troubling you. Ever since I've known you, you've been searching for a life greater than that of an ordinary Jedi. A life of significance.
What could you give me?
Everything. Only through me can you achieve a power greater than any Jedi. Learn to use the dark side of the Force.
Show me again the power of the darkness. And I will finish what you started. Show me, grandfather.
Powerful Sith you will become. Do what must be done, Lord Vader. Do not hesitate. Send mercy. The shroud of the dark side has fallen. Destroy the Sith. We must. Stand together, die together. You will experience the full power of the dark side. You're fulfilling your destiny. In the Jedi. If you only knew the power of the dark side.
No one's ever really gone.
Lord Vader.
Yes, Master.
Rise.
So what did I think was power? No, not the power of the dark side. the power of storytelling. I knew then, when I saw that movie, that one day I would want to tell a story using moving pictures with sound. I knew then that one day I would want to tell a story by making a movie. But as we all know, dreaming and waking up, easy. Making that dream become reality, that's another story. The years went by, I turned 18, I graduated from high school. Honestly, I had no idea what I really wanted to do with the rest of my life. My mom obviously wanted me to go to college, study, and maybe become an attorney like someone she once knew. I had bigger plans. All I wanted to do was work, cash my check on Fridays, put gas in my car, and go out with my girl. During this time, personal computers and software were becoming faster and more powerful. I'm working for an orthopedic manufacturing company, and they say to me, Juan, if we buy this software, do you think, would you be able to take our drawings, digitize them, and put them in the computer using this very special software called AutoCAD? I said, sure, I can do it, no problem. Obviously, that was my mindset back then, that anything was possible. And boy, did I regret that. Because now it meant I had to spend many nights and weekends doing this very boring and tedious work. And I remember that although my computer was fast and the software was powerful, it would take me days to render a very simple little image in 3D. That year, 2 new movies would come out. One would revolutionize computer animation forever, go on to win an Oscar, Toy Story, and Twister. Wow, the F5 tornado. You can see it, you can feel it, you can hear it. And does anybody remember at the end of the movie what happened? We were inside of it. The studios had a new friend. The studios had a new character. Studios had these supercomputers called Silicon Graphics. What would take me days to do, they can now render full life sequences in seconds. And that's when it hit me. I said, wait a minute. I like computers. I love movies. How about if I study to become a computer animator and work for the major motion picture studios doing their special effects? And so what did I do? I enrolled at the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale for a 2-year degree in computer animation. And I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get started. Especially when the recruiter says to me, Juan, guess what? Your first semester, we are going to open up a multi-million-dollar computer lab. Guess what computers we were going to be working with? The ones the studios were using, the Silicon Graphics. Now let me ask you all this. What do you guys think they teach in a computer animation course? Anybody have any idea? They teach you how to draw using the basics. Watercolors, pencils, crayons, markers. We had to draw shapes. We had to learn how to draw perspective. We had to learn how to draw people, the human form. We had to draw men and women. We had to draw them naked. And by the way, I give them a lot of credit for those people who stand there for 45 minutes. Do not move while you do your rendering. And no, there was no happy endings like in the movie Titanic, okay? This was serious business, folks. Every day that I would go to class, I'd pass by the computer lab and it was empty. There was nobody in there. And I said to my teacher, teacher, when are we going to start working with these Silicon Graphics machines? And the teacher says something to me that I'll never, ever forget. He said, Juan, let me tell you something. The computer is just a tool. The artist always follows you. Now, obviously, it didn't make any sense to me. It didn't register what he was saying. I said, listen, teacher, all I want to do is start blowing stuff up, special effects, lightning, thunder. We go back to class, and he says, for your next week's homework assignment, I want you to present to the class your chosen field and why you picked it. That got me super excited. I said, oh, I can do this. And I remember going home, working on my presentation, writing it down, practicing it. And when I presented it to the class, I realized I had just made the single biggest mistake of my life yet. Does anybody have any idea what was going through my mind? I realized right there and then that I did not belong behind a computer, that my true passion would belong somewhere else. I go back to class and I started to analyze the work that my classmates were doing. By the way, these were very talented kids who came from all over the world to study here. They came from Austria, Germany, Spain, Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Japan. And when I saw what these kids were able to do by hand, on paper, I was blown away. I said to myself, if they can do that on paper, can you imagine what these kids could do when they get their hands on a supercomputer? I realized I had some serious competition. And when I saw what they were able to do when they started to draw superheroes, which is what the studios like Superman, I said, this is going to be a very tough job for me in an interview process in Hollywood. And that's when I realized that my true passion and my true calling will belong in a very special world called sales. During this time, I'm working for the orthopedic manufacturing company, and the president says to me, Juan, how would you like to visit our existing customer base and show them our new retail line? I said, sir, do you mean like sales? He said, yeah. I said, sir, with all due respect, what if I don't sell? Won't I get fired? He said, Juan, let me tell you something. This is just a trial. See how it goes. Okay? And then I remembered there was this one guy at the warehouse. We would see him once a week. He was always dressed very sharp in a suit. He had a beeper, a cell phone, brand new car parked outside. And I said to myself, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to be doing what he does. So I bought my first suit. They gave me my business cards. I went out there knocking on doors. And after 3 months, I didn't make one single sale. I quit. I went back to the warehouse. And then a friend of mine says, Juan, why don't you try the telecom industry? I said, why the telecom industry? He says, you know, I have a friend who has a Motorola two-way radio dealer. You can make a lot of money selling two-way. I said, wait a minute. Can you repeat that again? What? Telecom? No. Motorola? No. That you can make a lot of money selling two-way radios? Ladies and gentlemen, that was it. That's what I needed to hear. When I heard that, think about it. I was young, broke, used car, no AC. My girlfriend loved to eat out every day. Honestly, it was me. It was me. And so, this reminded me of the scene in the movie Tropic Thunder.
See, this is the good part, Tucker. It's when Joe gets fun. Ask, and you shall see. Alright, you play ball, we play ball. I know you want the goodie.
Welcome to the goodie room.
You paying attention? Because I'm talking G5. That's how you can roll. No more frequent flat beach miles from my boy. Oh yeah. Player. Big dick player.
Swinging past your knees.
Big dick baby.
Yep.
Or you can grow conscience in the next 5 minutes and see where that takes you.
Let me get this straight. You want me to let my client of 15 years, one of my best friends, die in the jungle alone for some money in a G5?
Yes.
A G5 airplane?
Yes. And lots of money. Play.
Yeah. Smack it up, flip it, rock down. Oh.
That was it. I wanted my G5 and lots of money when I heard that. And so, what did I do? I went to work. First day, I left my 9 to 5, very, we're going to secure job to go into this commission-based only sales position. And the owner says to me, Juan, you see that little office right there? I said, yes, sir. He said, have a seat. And you see all those manuals? I said, yes, sir. Go ahead, read as much as you can and good luck. Wow. I said, you know what? My girlfriend was right. I am going to get fired because there's no sales training. But I said, wait a minute, I know what to do. I'm going to go to sales university. Does anybody know where the nearest sales university is at? There's 3 of them. I found them. The first one was Waldenbooks. The second one was Borders. And my favorite, Barnes & Noble. I went straight to the business section. I found this book. I was in heaven. I found the Bible, Selling for Dummies, but written by Mr. Tom Hopkins. You know, when I read his story, he was working 18-hour days in construction. His father told him, go into real estate, go into real estate. He had no car, he had a motorcycle. He didn't have a suit, he had a band uniform. And when he took his first customers to visit that property, they left. They couldn't take this guy serious. I took him very serious. I read every single sentence, paragraph, chapter. I couldn't wait to go out there and get my first victim. My first sale. And finally somebody called, says, hey, we're interested in these two-way radios. Can somebody please come out here? I went out there. They were located at the old Eastern Airlines building at the Miami International Airport. I remember walking in, I greeted the receptionist. I'm here to see Chuck. I sit down, I start looking at all the black and white vintage pictures of how flying used to be. The beautiful stewardesses passing by. And then I see Chuck coming down. He says, hey Juan, how you doing? I look at his business card, Director of Maintenance. He says, sir, what do you have? I said, sir, this is the new Motorola 800 megahertz radio. It has a flexible antenna, a nickel metal hydride battery, a mobile charging station, and as long as you have a direct line of sight in South Florida, you'll be able to communicate with any of your employees. Would you like to give it a try? He said, sure, let's do a demo. I said, yes, sir, just press that button right there and you'll be able to talk to me immediately. He said, no, you didn't hear me right. I want to do a demo, 2 weeks out in the field to see if what you're saying is true. I didn't want to do a demo. Does anybody know why I didn't want to do a demo? Because I wanted my big fat commission check. I wanted to get paid on Friday. I said, sir, no problem. Take your time. 1 week, 2 weeks. He finally calls me back after 3 weeks. And he says, Juan, come pick up the radios. I left them with the receptionist. And I said to myself, how am I supposed to overcome objections? How am I supposed to negotiate with him if he doesn't want to even talk to me? A week after that, he says, hey, I got a purchase order for you. It was the largest purchase order this company had ever seen. I couldn't wait till Friday. I couldn't wait to get my big fat commission check. I give my boss, what? Negative. What do you mean negative? I was on a draw. I forgot about that. 3 months draw. I forgot I was in a commission-based position. You know, I was so disappointed. I was so upset. I quit, but he was right though. What do I do next? And somebody else quit on me too. Now I was single. And a friend of mine goes, have you heard of a company called Nextel? I said, ooh, what's so big about Nextel? He says, what do you mean? It's a two-way radio, it's a pager, and a cell phone all in one. You better go out there and get a job because these guys are making $10, $15, $20, $25,000 a month in commissions. I applied. I interviewed with the sales manager. Her name was Claudia. Tough lady. But I was cocky because I had just closed that big account called Miami Air. And Chuck, he wasn't just the director of maintenance. He was the pilot and one of the founders of the company. Claudia says to me, Juan, do you have any experience selling two-way radios? I said, yes. What about pagers? No. What about wireless cell phones? No. Do you have an existing customer base? I said, no. Well, unfortunately, I cannot give you the job. I couldn't believe that I was going to miss out on this golden opportunity to make all this money. And she says to me, but I'm going to help you out. Go see this guy. He's a sales manager for the largest paging company in the USA. And he says, you know what, Juan, what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to give you a starting salary, plus commission, 401 dental medical benefits, stock options because we're a publicly traded company, fully vested after 90 days. And he says, and I'm going to give you, you see this check? I said, yes, $4,000, Wachovia Bank, go cash it. Sir, what am I going to do with $4,000? This is before the internet, folks. He goes, you're going to go to the airport, get your ticket, round trip airfare from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando. When you get to Orlando, you're going to pay the hotel 14 straight nights. And whatever money you have left over, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and whatever you have left over, bring it back. Let me tell you something. Call it whatever you want to call it. I drank the Kool-Aid for 2 weeks, but I came out of there selling. Nobody could compete with me. I did so well here. I went to go work for AT&T. I made so much money. I was finally able to get married and buy my first home. And then, after 7 months, I was divorced. The year was 1999. Everybody was worried about what was going to happen going from 1999 to the year 2000, the Y2K bug. I had a bigger problem with my hands. I went home, and my brother, he was sitting down on the couch, and he says, Juan, I'm tired, right? Tired of working for somebody else. I would like to have my own business. And I said, Louis, I'm divorced. I have more money in my pocket. How about I open up a high-performance shop? You quit your job. I run it for you for a couple of months until you're off on your own. And that's what we did. My brother and I, we were part of the hot import scene. That year, a new movie would come out, The Fast and the Furious. When this movie came out, all of us bought tickets. We went out Thursday night to the Coconut Grove Theater, and it was incredible. It was sold out, and you know when you walk into a movie theater, it's nice and cold? Well, it got super hot in there after that first illegal drag racing scene between Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. Why tell you when I could just show you? Anywhere else, but he's doing it here tonight for us. Benny, looking forward to your talk, sir.